Nation of Fitin10, it is day 20, and we got through some scans this morning, and seen some good results. Of course, there's still a lot of scans to go, but so far some really good results, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest. So again, I want to remind you that if you haven't seen very much weight loss, don't worry about it. It's very common for people not to see the weight loss, but to see the fat loss. Okay. So, again, when you lose that 3 or 4 pounds of fat, or even 5 pounds, and then your weight training and your diet's changed and everything, we just see a big redistribution of water. We see perhaps a little more, certainly more water in the muscle, so we see a little more muscle gain, or at least the reading is more muscle gain. And so, we just don't see everything equal out to, basically you can think of it as like there's some good weight that's added and some bad weight that's lost, but you just don't see the difference, right? Because you can't tell that when you simply weigh yourself, okay? So, looking forward to the rest of your scans, but kudos to you guys so far. All right, let's talk a little bit more about good fats, bad fats. And let me just actually get back to where we were here. Okay, so yesterday I talked about good fats, bad fats. So just to do another little recap here. The bad fats, essentially you want to stay away from trans fats. Trans fats we typically see in like a lot of junk food. We don't typically see that anymore in like nobody's buying the hydrogenated oils or anything like that anymore, right? So like the old base L, So basically we want to stay away from the highly polyunsaturated fats, the vegetable oils, right? The canola oil, the safflower oil, the sunflower oil, the corn oil. All these are very high in polyunsaturated fats. And again, these are things that we were never eating in the past, right? This all has to be produced and manufactured. It's certainly not like, eating avocado or olives or, fats that are found in meat. This is something that we're all used to. These polyunsaturated fats are really the ones that have been new to our to our consumption, right? And again, we want to stay away from those polyunsaturated fats because those are the ones that are going to be more prone to oxidation and more carcinogenic. Okay. So nuts, avocados, even saturated fats, right? I say even saturated fats. I feel like I have to say that. Nothing wrong with saturated fats. So getting in some real butter, some coconut oil, meat from fat. By the way, meat is typically about half saturated fat, half monounsaturated fat. And here's an interesting fact for you. What do you think has more saturated fat? Not that it's bad, but what do you think has more saturated fat? 2 tablespoons of olive oil. All right, so take 2 tablespoons, just 2 tablespoons of olive oil, or a 4-ounce pork chop. Which one has more saturated fat? Well, you might be surprised to learn that the olive oil has actually more saturated fat than the 4 ounces of pork. But it's neither here nor there because don't be worried about saturated fat, period, okay? And we talked a little bit about the cholesterol carriers, those protein carriers, Hdl and Ldl, which you may have heard before, and you've probably heard that you don't want to have high LDL, and it's good to have high HDL but not high LDL. But again, there's really no evidence of this. This seems to be more genetic based amongst people. And for the most part, your cholesterol levels, your HDL and your LDL levels, for most of the population, do not really get affected through diet. Okay, so again, I really wouldn't be too concerned about it. We've never seen any mechanistic data. We've never seen any cause and effect with HDL and LDL levels. We've seen some correlation there, but correlation is not causation. Okay, so again, maybe the hypothesis that was put out there in the past is true, but there's no proof of it. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Which oils are better for frying? Okay. or to use on salad. Okay, so for frying, we definitely want saturated. Okay, so butter, coconut oil, the ones that you would probably think are not good, those are the ones you want to use. To use on a salad, again, monounsaturated fats or saturated fats. Monounsaturated fats, nuts, macadamia nut oil, olive oil. These are better fats to have. Of course, your saturated fats as well. So stick with those types of things. Again, stay away from canola oil, corn oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, those types. Okay, soybean oil. Stay away from all of those. Why do some oils become bad when heated? Okay, because they are less stable. So fats, especially polyunsaturated fats, they have more of what we call these double bonds. That is, in essence, when a fat has two or more double bonds in it, it's poly, it's many. Unsaturated is just the number of double bonds. And when you have double bonds, you basically, if you know anything about chemistry, it just basically means that there's an extra pair of electrons, essentially. Okay, so more donor electrons, and so they are more reactive. Okay, you can think of polyunsaturated as being the most reactive fats. Okay, and so they're not as stable, right? When we think of stability, we think of you can think of good. When you think of unstable, you can think of bad, right? So. And so when you heat them, they are going to become they're more prone to being unstable and reacting. Okay, so that's a very simplistic way of explaining that. Okay, I'm going to try to make this video shorter today. All right, this person writes, I find that when I do the 6 p.m. Zoom classes, I feel that my energy level is pretty low. My last meal would have been around noon. What types of snacks, foods should I target when I consume it? Okay, well, so you last ate at 12 and then you're doing a class at 6. All right, so I would definitely eat something before 6 p.m. here, okay? So if I were you, I would eat a regular meal, like one of your regular meals at like around 3, and then I would eat something small around maybe an hour outside of training, so say 5 p.m. And so what do I typically do? I typically have an isobar, actually. They're a good combination of carbohydrates and protein. They're actually a really good meal replacement, but I only do like usually one, maybe 1.5 if it's a big workout for me, like a leg day. And again, why? Because we're getting some quicker digesting protein in there, that whey protein that's in the isobar, as well as a mixture of sugars and starches in there. So it's a pretty fast digesting, good tasting, convenient source of food before I train. But you could do like a smoothie. Smoothie would be good because that will digest pretty fast as well. Some protein powder, a banana or something like that, and some say almond milk or something, right? Or you could have regular milk or whatever you want to mix into it. That would be really good as well. You could do a little bit of oatmeal and protein powder. That would be okay. But I would just do a smaller meal, maybe about an hour out. So maybe half a meal, an hour out of training, okay? I feel like I answered this question already. If I answered this question already, my apologies. All right, moving right along here. How are we doing here? Almost at 9 minutes. Okay, let's get to the message of the day. Message of the day: easy doesn't change you. Easy doesn't change you. Easy does not change you. A lot of people say to me, well, this is really hard to do, measuring your food and blah, blah, blah. Yes, but I can tell you that if you do it and you follow it, you'll get great results, right? So there's many things I can suggest to you to do that might be helpful, and you may do well to lose body fat, but there's no guarantee. But this way, I can guarantee. So, with things that are going to work for you, or you want more assurance or more guarantee, it's going to require a little more effort, okay? So generally speaking, easy doesn't change you, okay? Or easy doesn't guarantee change, that's for sure. All right, so just understand that especially when something is new, it will definitely be harder, but if you put your time and your energy and patience into this, you will see the change, and you'll be very happy with the change, and you will have a better understanding of, holy shit, I can't believe I just ate this much food and I lost this much weight or this much body fat, and hopefully it'll be something that you'll adopt into the future, depending on what's important to you, right? All right, easy doesn't change you. So if it's hard, maybe you can think of it as, well, it's harder, it's probably more prone to work, okay? Think of it like that, okay? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude. I'll talk to you very soon. See you guys.